Hi YouTubers, this is John coming back to you from our tiny cabin project. First, I'd like to start by saying thank you for joining us in another video today. So what I'll be talking about today is the coffee percolator. What this is a very simple way of making coffee off the grid, not requiring any electricity or running water. So to make it simple, the coffee percolator comes in 5 parts. First, you have the pitcher, which holds the water. Second, you have the stem, which goes inside of the pitcher surrounded by the water. Third, you have your coffee filter, which is where you place your coffee grounds. Fourth, you have the top to that coffee filter, which is also got a whole bunch of holes in it for the water to drip through. And lastly, you have the lid that goes on top. Believe it or not, the lid is very important because you have to keep all the steam and everything inside. Now, a lot of the coffee percolators are a little bit more fancy than this one. This is your basic, what they call a camp model. But the true percolators have a hollow glass knob on the top where you can actually watch the water bubble through and change colors to keep track of how dark your coffee is getting and to judge when to stop that. With this, it did require just a little bit of trial and error to determine the amount of time it takes to brew the coffee to the perfect consistency. So without any further ado, I'm going to show you how to brew some coffee with a percolator. So for today's little show, I am going to use 6 cups of water for 6 cups of coffee. Now I've already got 4 cups of water in there. I didn't want to bore you with the process of filling it, so we're going to add the last 2 cups, making 6 cups of water. Now I find that about 1 tablespoon of coffee grounds per every 8 ounces of water, or 1 cup, is a pretty good ratio. So what we're going to do is we're going to place the coffee filter on the stem, and then we're going to start adding our coffee. 1, 2, 3. Alright, so we've got 6 tablespoons of coffee grounds in the filter. Now this is pretty finely ground coffee, what I have on hand. I would recommend, if you don't want any of the grounds in your cup of coffee, to do a medium to large ground coffee. You don't want the fine ground stuff because you don't actually put a real filter in this, so it will come through the bottom. So what we do now is we just place this on top, making sure everything is closed, and place that inside, and it is ready for brewing. So I've gone ahead and changed the position of the camera so you guys can get a little better of a view for what's going on inside. So again, we have our stem with the filter inside the pot of water, and we've got it on the stove ready to go, though I don't have the heat turned on yet. So as I said earlier, what'll happen is when the water starts to boil, it's going to come up through the stem, it'll come out and fall onto the top here, where it soaks through the coffee grounds and goes back into the water, darkening the coffee. So we're going to go ahead, shut the lid, and for the timing of the video and to get things moving along fast, I'm going to go ahead and set this on a high heat to start getting this water up to the point that it can boil. So as you guys can see and probably hear, we've got that heating up pretty fast, hence the burning red coil under the coffee pot. So it's starting to steam up inside, and soon we'll be getting some bubbles coming up from the top of that spout. So it's been about 3 minutes, And as you can see, the water has started to boil over the stem. The water is falling onto the lid of the filter, going through the coffee grounds and back into the water. So at this point, the water is still somewhat clear because it's just begun, but over time that water will start to get darker. So as you can see, even with the cheaper cant models of the coffee percolator, you can easily open up the lid to see where that process is at. Now, as I said earlier, I have timed it out, so it'll take about 8 minutes to get to my desired brew. So I'm going to go ahead and set a timer for that, and we'll check back periodically until those 8 minutes are up. After only a few moments, the water has already become noticeably darker, having a light brown to gold color to it. So this would be, at this point, a light brewed coffee, but we're going for dark. So it's been just about 8 minutes, and as you can see, we've reached a nice dark color on the coffee. So I'm going to go ahead and turn the heat completely off and let this settle down and cool down so we can check it. I'll pour a cup of coffee and you can see the results of the percolator. Alrighty, we've had a few moments for the percolator to set and cool off just so we can pick it up to pour ourselves a cup of coffee. It doesn't really take that long, though I would forewarn you, since the handle and every part of this pot is metal, to make sure that it is cool enough to the touch so that you don't burn yourself. Alright, so let's go ahead and see the results. So as you see, we have a beautiful dark roast coffee. It's very simple. It requires no electricity, no coffee filters, and no running water. This thing actually works best over an open flame. While using it on the old electric stove, it does kind of take a little bit longer to warm up. So on a denatured alcohol burning stovetop, any kind of marine stove would work perfect, or even on your Dickinson wood burning stove. So there's to a fresh cup of coffee. I do want to thank you guys for watching this video. Please comment below if you guys have any thoughts or questions on this. And as always, please like and subscribe. Stay tuned to our next video. Thank you.